Hey!
Welcome to the podcast, Coach.
I appreciate it. Been a long time coming.
Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you being on, man, and taking the time, making the time to be with us. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, but I got time, man. I got plenty of time. As a grown man now, being married for 22 years, 4 daughters, my patience has grown.
Right.
So I definitely got time, but I appreciate it, man. Now, I want to start off like I do every podcast, Coach, in that how are you introduced to the game of basketball?
I was introduced at a young age. So I grew up in a basketball family back in Bloomington, Illinois. My dad was kind of a local legend who ran the community center out there. So anyone who played basketball in our area came through that community center. So as a young kid, I remember being in, kindergarten, first grade, and just watching everybody play. I was at the gym after school, probably 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours out of the day.
Wow.
And it was just kind of a lifestyle. So I didn't gravitate to it early like my brother, my older brother. He's 2 years older than me. He gravitated to it early. I kind of tried a bunch of different things here and there, but eventually the love took over.
Yeah, no, there's no escaping it, especially when your pops is that influential in the community. Because I think we associate the love of the game with a person a lot of times in my mind.
Sure.
Because you say, "Oh, I love the game," but then when you stop playing, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Right.
So it's like fall out of love, broke up. What happened?
Right.
And I think we fall in love with the relationships, the people, things of that nature. So I mean,
For sure.
it definitely gives just great value to the game, and then we grow within it, like you're doing right now. They're at BYU now, Coach. I want to ask you. My next question is about your experience with those who coached you, right? So your dad, introduced you to the game.
Yeah.
Did he coach you coming up, or who was it that?
Yeah. Growing up in the local rec leagues, my dad was always the coach. It's funny though, because I was always like, no, I want to play for somebody else. So like I would play for the other local coaches against my dad's teams. And
Wow.
his team beat us a lot of the time. So yeah, I've been fortunate to have a lot of great coaches growing up through high school. Jeff Wolbrin is a big time mentor of mine, and he coached me at the high school level, and then we also got to coach together at the college level at Stanford first, and then when he became the head coach at Denver, I was his associate head coach. So I was really, really blessed to learn from him as a high school player. I mean, you're talking about a guy who coached Lamont Murray, Jason Kidd.
Wow.
He was a local coach at Illinois State University as well, before retiring and then getting back into high school coaching. So I've been very blessed throughout my college years. A lot of the guys that I've worked for are guys that coach me, and they're guys who taught me and mentored me. And it's so I've got a great relationship with a lot of the coaches that I came up under, and I still talk to them to this day.
That's fantastic, Coach. Yeah. Being able to work with those who coached you and becoming peers, it's always kind of a weird situation at first.
Right. No, for sure.
But then after a while, you kind of find your voice with them, and you're like, yeah, that's right. I'm here. Now, on that point, Coach, who influenced you to go into the coaching profession?
Yeah, well, coming out, I played professionally a little bit in Mexico, tore my shoulder up. And that was kind of the end of that. And so I started coaching. I had actually been doing it in college as well, AAU with my dad's program that he ran, Team Illinois. So I started coaching there, and it was fun for me. Then I got into the real world, started working. I worked at State Farm for about 15 months. And while I was doing that, I was a high school coach at my brother's high school. Was one of our rivals in high school. So I started coaching there and really, really enjoyed it. And then missed the West Coast, so was transferred out to Phoenix by State Farm. And I was doing really well in the career there, but just wasn't loving it, wasn't enjoying it as much. So I got an offer. My senior year, I played at Azusa Pacific University. And the coach that recruited me, Jeff Rutter, ended up taking Arizona Christian University, an NAI school in the Phoenix area. So when I was there, he basically said, "Hey, I've got a spot for you if you want it. It only pays $2,000." And I'm like, "Okay, $2,000 a month. That's really good money for my age." He said, "No, it's $2,000 for the year." So about $130. So I ended up working State Farm, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, driving 40 minutes to North Phoenix, going to practice, doing that thing, drive 40 minutes back, and then work on scouting and recruiting till about midnight and do it all the next day. So that was kind of my life for a year. But I really fell into it, fell in love with it after that. So I would put a huge credit, obviously, to my father, but to Jeff Rutter at Arizona Christian and helping me fall in love with the game, find my voice, fall in love with the coaching part of the game, find my voice as a coach, and throwing me into the fire. And it's been good since then.
That's fantastic. Now, seeing your journey, those are some faith-based programs there. Does that align with your own personal beliefs? Does that align with your lifestyle?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'm a Christian, and the biggest thing for me is the values of everything. And like, there's all these different religions, and obviously BYU is a Mormon university. I went to a Catholic high school, and Arizona Christian, obviously Christian University. And at the end of the day, what I think they all have is a baseline of values that mean a lot to the people that are working there, that mean a lot to the institution, and they align with my values. I'm a people person first. My dad was like I said, he worked in the community, running a rec center, and he's kind of the guy that would help families find housing or food or those type of things. And when they couldn't afford it or didn't have the ability, people are now in jail. He's got to help find the kids things to do, places to be. And so for me, it's always been about giving and growing. And I feel like a lot of the faith-based universities that I've been about, like that's their underlying value system. And so it's really aligned for me.
That's fantastic, Coach. I mean, kind of the idea to be a servant, not to be served.
For sure.
And I think that's what you got that from your dad. And that's really, really important, because a lot of people that get into this game at some level, they think they're there to be served,
right?
Not to serve.
Right.
And they don't last very long.
Yeah, when you have success, and then sometimes that comes up, and it's like, you better get back to why you were successful.
Go back to your why, I guess.
Exactly.
And thank God you went into coaching, because then maybe not. You might have become Brandon from State Farm.
Yeah. It's funny. Obviously, my hometown is where it's from. My mom worked there for over 30 or 40 years. And
wow.
So it's she retired a few years ago. So yeah, that State Farm has been, when you're from where I'm from, it's in the blood. Right. And it was good while I was there. It's a good company. Just for me, the 9-to-5s aren't really it for me. I just got to do something that I feel helps spark my creative juices and that I'm giving back. And so that's the coaching thing for me.
That's fantastic, man. Great stuff right there. Brandon from State Farm. That would have been good, man. But anyways, moving forward, I want to ask you, Coach, what changed about your approach from the game, going from here again when you started Arizona Christian to now at BYU? Because we all grow, like you talked about growing, right? Yeah. What's been that growth between those two, where you were and where you're at now?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, honestly. Speaking from a basketball perspective, just the game evolves, as you know, and I've been able to learn from a lot of different coaches that have had a lot of success. I mean, I work for, like I said, Arizona Christian. Jeff Rutter might be the best offensive mind that I've ever been around, and he coaches in the NAI level. Like he's been in numerous Final Fours and had a ton of success there. And to go to Jared Haas, who took UAB to the tournament, beat Iowa State when the Iowa State was a 3 seed, and UAB had finished near mid-conference in the Conference USA, and to be able to do that and then have success past that. And at Stanford, Eric Musselman, who's had a ton of experience in the NBA, I mean, wildly successful at the college level. Dedrick Taylor, Same thing, led Fullerton to 2 NCAA tournaments, only coach to do that in school history. Obviously, Jeff Wolverine, who I mentioned earlier. Just so many different people I've worked for. Kevin Young, the experience with him has been amazing, and just learning the game from the pro style and how they think about things, the spacing, and a lot of different people that are on those staffs too have taught me a lot. And I've been blessed to be around people who know the game in different ways. As we all know, there's many ways to skin a cat. So keeping an open mind with all that stuff has been something I've done throughout the years, and I've seen a lot of different ways to be successful from a basketball standpoint. I think what doesn't change is the relationships within the game, within the players. Like, the best thing for me is to be able to just be a part of each guy's success and their story in some way. So I think at the end of the day, that's what keeps me doing this. The wins, all that stuff is successful, but the baseline remains the same. But from a standpoint of what's different and what's changed, I just say the ever evolving schematics and things like that in basketball. And then obviously recruiting, how you do it, those things have changed. But at the end of the day, the core baseline is still the same.
Yeah, no, being transformational, right? And in those relationships as well. Even though we live in an era where it's a lot of transactional now.
A lot.
So being kind of,
I'll say, like, being at a faith-based university kind of keeps those original values and things like that in play, where it can still be relational, because to make it at a lot of these universities, there are different requirements. And so the relationship has to be there, and you have to want the same things, because if not, it just won't work out. So I think that's been a huge blessing too.
That's great, Coach. Yeah, I think kind of on that same note with transactional and how things have changed with like the NIL, the portal, re-recruiting, revenue sharing now. Kind of what stayed constant, because you've been with a lot of winners, right?
Yeah.
And
you're
probably going to win a lot this year. So what stays constant? What stays constant and leads to winning, man? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple things. The main thing to me is the relationship, and knowing that you are where you are for a reason. You chose the players that you're coaching for a reason. They chose the coaches that they wanted in the school that they're at for a reason. And keeping that the main thing, like, and always remembering that and always pouring into that. And when things break down or things get tough, always going back to that. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why did I choose it? And I think when you're able to go back to that, it ends up helping you to be successful. So I would say keeping the main thing is the thing that's stayed constant, whether it's no matter what's going on, NIL, all this other stuff, and re-recruiting. I tell people all the time, like, the recruiting piece of it, take the money aside, like re-recruiting your team. I'm like, I coached in NAI for 3 years. That's what we do every year. So like, it wasn't that big of a difference. I mean, we were bringing 10 guys in a year every single year, and you're having to rebuild. It's kind of like junior college. You have to rebuild your program. Obviously, the money puts a wrench into that. But when you're at a place like BYU, the fit is so important that the money is the last thing we talk about. And if it's something that comes up first, then you're probably not the guy for us. Just because you have to fit here to be here. And at the end of the day, Justin Leslie, who coached me at Azusa Pacific my last year, he said something to me that has always kind of rang true for recruiting, and it's definitely true here at BYU. I don't pray for certain people to come here. I pray for the right people to come here. And that's kind of how we do things. It's like, we are who we are. Do you fit it? If you don't, it's okay. It's not a big deal. But let's move separate ways, and you're still going to be successful and that type of thing. But we're very comfortable in our own skin with who we are, how we do things, and we want people that want to be a part of that, because those are the people that are going to thrive.
You know, I was watching a kind of like a little segment of a documentary, or not even documentary, like like a short little doc about what y'all were doing, and you got the number one player in the country, number one draft pick, right? And
Yeah.
you're asking him, why'd you choose Utah? Why'd you choose Provo, right? Like, and he's like, it was just the right fit, you
Yeah.
know. And then one of his high school teammates was there too, and saying the same thing, like it was the right fit. And so when I hear you say that, and I know in the past and even now, the players that I have that are being recruited, I'm telling them the same thing, like find the right fit
Yep.
and find where you're wanted.
Yep.
Um,
100%.
because none of these places really need you. I mean, they'll
Right.
say
Right.
they'll say they do, but
Right.
where do they want you at? Because then they'll
Yeah.
need you to an extent too. Like,
Yeah. And I think that goes both ways. Like, go
yeah,
to a place where you're wanted, but
yeah,
also as a coaching staff in a school, go to recruit the players that want to play for you.
yeah,
Like that, to me, that's a big deal. The fit is such a big deal. And I think the most successful programs
mhm,
find the best fits on both sides.
yeah,
And that's why it works, because if their individual goals do not align with your team goals and what you guys are trying to do, it's never going to work. So you got to find a place that fits both parties equally as well, and then grow from there.
yeah. And those lines are even sharper now of their goals and your goals. Like
Yeah.
it's sometimes there's a chasm there,
Yeah.
especially with it, here again with everything that's jumped into the game now. It's like you really have to be on point with the fit from both
Sure.
sides more than ever. So, Coach, I want to ask you about success because you mentioned success earlier. What do you consider success? Because obviously there's metrics, right? Championships, things of that nature, whether they be conference or NCAA. But what do you consider success in this game?
Yeah, to me, success is growth. Um, did you grow? Whether you, um, even if you quote unquote fail at a task, you can
Mhm.
still be successful in that moment if you're learning from it. And so for me, it's just continual growth. That's what success is, in my opinion. And I think you can get it out of when you win, when you lose, whatever it is. I think you can get success out of all of it.
Yeah, no, that's well said. As far as learning, when we learn more from losses, man, and you know that.
Always,
uh,
always.
Especially when you got some talent and they're starting to feel themselves, gassing themselves up, reading
Right.
social media about what they just did, and
Yep.
all of a sudden you're like, these guys need a loss. You don't want,
Exactly.
you don't want
Exactly.
one.
It's
You
funny.
don't want.
I was talking to a high school coach this morning, and he said, "Yeah, we just got our butts whooped, and it was the best thing for us because now in practice, these guys are going to lock in." And it's true. Like sometimes it takes something devastating to help you refocus and reshape how you're thinking. And like we talked about earlier, get back to that why. Why am I doing this? Why did I come here? Why was this the place?
Yeah,
And lock back into that.
yeah. As long as they ain't coach, as long as it ain't a money game with some small school,
No
and as
doubt.
long as it ain't during conference.
Right. Right.
Other than that, let's go.
No
It's
doubt.
one
No
of
doubt.
those games to help us. But yeah,
Right.
I hear you, Coach. Really, it's really important to remember that. I think
Yeah.
for all coaches, because we can get caught up in I got to win, I got to win, I got to win.
Right. For
There's
sure.
times when you can win and things fall apart.
No doubt.
It's like you regress because you won.
Exactly. And if you win and you don't grow, are you really being successful?
Yeah,
Like for me, I again, like I go back to that. The growth thing is just a huge thing. All right, what are you learning from this?
yeah,
Wins, losses, whatever it is. It's great to be. It's good. You can be happy, enjoy the moment. But all right, what are you taking from this?
yeah. So coaching with as far as growth is concerned, mentorship, like
Yep.
that's a big deal for me. It's a big deal for a lot of coaches
Yep.
at every level, right? How important is it for you? You know, you spoke about some of those who've mentored you in the past,
Yep.
but how important is it for you to get that mentorship as you continue to move up the ranks, so to speak, and then
Yep.
one day be a head coach? How important is that to you?
Yeah, no, it's very important. I mean, look, there's so many people with so many different perspectives
Mhm.
because of their experiences. And
Yeah,
whenever you can take from that and learn from it, it's great. It helps you navigate life. Look, I love the game of basketball. Yes, because of the game itself, but at the
yeah,
end of the day, it gave me the tools I needed to successfully navigate life and grow.
yeah,
And so when I have dilemmas and issues, whether it's in coaching, in a different part of my life, whatever it is, a lot of those mentors I'm able to go back to because they might not know the exact thing I'm going through, but they've
Yeah.
got something that parallels it. And
Right.
so that is what I look for. And with all of my mentors, they're trusted people. I respect them as human beings first, as uh, mentors, as fathers, as husbands, and I
Yeah.
respect them in that way first. And they've always shown me a great roadmap. So in my mind, I would be idiotic not to go to them when I'm in these situations because I know they have these life experiences for me. So they've been a huge part of everything I do, and different people in different settings with those mentors have been able to help me.
Yeah, I think you hit on something earlier when you talked about the different perspectives, right? Because in different times we're going through different things personally, and it affects our coaching and it affects how we do things, right? How you do some things, or is how you do everything, or how it's all these different things that coexist together. And
Yep.
coaches be like, these coach seems like he's not really into it today. Man, maybe
Yeah.
he's lost the passion. Maybe something happened at home.
Exactly.
Maybe his
Exactly.
daughter's sick. Maybe his wife had something to give him the business before he left the house. I mean, it's
Exactly.
just mentors can help you with that. Like you said, it doesn't have to be exactly the same,
Yeah,
but
exactly. And
someone,
and it's the same thing when you look at different players. Like there's times where I've had issues like this player doesn't want to bring it. He's not getting it. There's something going, he's not getting this. And then I'll go to my mentor. It's like, well, do you know what's happening here? Can you
yeah,
reach out to this person and see if this happened? And sure enough, there's always an underlying issue. And when you can get to that, it really helps. But like mentors who have been through those type of situations,
yeah,
they can kind of guide you through it and help you, not necessarily tell you what to do, but help you ask the right questions, ask better questions to yourself to see, am I really addressing what I need to be addressing?
yeah. No, I like how you said that because I do counseling as well, and in counseling, the goal is not to tell people what to do, but to
Yeah,
just draw out the answers from their own mouth.
right. Exactly.
You talk about questioning yourself, so important that somebody presses us, if you will.
Right.
That, hey, what is it that you're seeing, and what are you like not looking at? You're looking at production,
Right.
and that's good. Yeah, he needs more points per game, rebounds per game, assists, whatever. But let's go into his personal life and ask,
Yeah.
hey, how are you? Something
Yep.
like that. Like, don't look at
Exactly.
him as just a means to an end. And
Exactly.
important to have those type of mentors, man. So that's great. Now, since you like, man, your name always comes up as like, man, this guy's when he's a young gun and he's coming up, and you hear all those things. I'm sure somebody says that to you maybe once or twice throughout your career that you're an up and coming coach at the tender age that you're at. How important do you think it is for the next generation of coaches coming behind you to be prepared for what they're going to see so that they don't kind of like have a misrepresentation of what's really happening and
Yep.
walk away from coaching?
I mean, I think it's huge, honestly. Again, my entire life has been about giving back because it's all I saw my family do. I was blessed. I was lucky to grow up seeing that.
Yeah,
And so it's what I always try to do. And anyone, anyone, whoever comes to me about stuff, I'm an open book because I want them to be able to help lead. The next generation of young men and players,
yeah,
because that's what it's all about. Like my players now, like I still have relationships with players that I coached at Arizona Christian where I'm talking to them weekly, because that to me that's what I enjoy most. And even players I coached in AAU, I've actually got a bunch of them in coaching right now. I've got one at Coastal Carolina, one at Wyoming, a bunch at the small college level. I'd be forgetting a ton, but it's great to see because it shows you that you were able to make some type of impact on them.
yeah,
And again, to me, the greatest compliment is seeing success in those that you've taught or that you've helped, and being able to say, small piece of that story that helped them see things in them that they might not have seen in themselves, because that's what my coaches did for me, and that's what the game did for me. So I'm very hopeful. All the players I coached, the guys who want to be coaches, whatever, I just hope they have a passion to impact other people's lives in a positive way.
That's fantastic, Coach. I mean, it's all about growth, right? It goes back to that again.
Yep.
Watching young people grow into something that maybe they didn't know they could be,
Right.
or reaching the potential that they didn't know they had, right? So
Right.
really, really important stuff, and foundational stuff, pillars
Yeah.
of whatever you're doing as a human being, seeing other people grow. Now, part of your growth, Coach, what have you learned about yourself throughout your career?
Yeah, I mean, where do I start? I mean, I've learned a ton. I've learned how to become more patient.
Yeah.
One big thing that I've had to learn over the last few years, and I've done a pretty good job of it throughout my career, but really, really digging deep into it is the balance of things. How do I balance family? How do I balance the job? How do you just balance a bunch of different things, and when being able to take time for yourself and do things for yourself and your family, as much as you're doing them for your job, and pouring into all these different areas of your life, physically, within your faith, your health, all that stuff. So I've continued to learn and grow from that aspect, and finding other things that you enjoy outside of the game, and while still having this burning passion for the game and helping others. So I would say that's the thing that I've continued to grow in the most, is just really trying to pour into every area of my life. When before, when I was young, it's ball, 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 coach, coach, coach. And it's just like, that's great. But at some point, it's got to be more than that in your life. And so that's been something that throughout the years I've really, really focused on. And I think, hey, you're always growing in that area, and other different areas of life as well.
Yeah, no, it has to become more substantial in
Yep.
different aspects of your life. It can't, like, ball is not life. It's
Right.
really not. Like,
No
it
doubt.
sounds good. It
It
looks good
sounds,
on a t-shirt and all
yeah.
that, and it
Well,
sounds
when
good
you're a
on
player,
video.
it's all you think about is
Yeah,
you're a
yeah, yeah,
player. Most guys are just all ball is life. And
yeah,
then they get one in. That's what happened to me. I get one injury, and now I'm like, what do I do with my life? Like, so it's like
yeah,
you got to find other interests, other outlets,
yeah,
um, and you got to have a greater purpose. And for a lot of people, again, for me, I do love the game of basketball, but my passion is helping others, and
yeah,
so I'm able to find my passion within my purpose. And so, yes, I love the game of basketball, but I'm able to help others through it. Let's do that. But at the same time, you still got to realize there's other things going on in life,
yeah,
uh, and you need to be present for those. So
yeah,
I say the thing that I've done probably more over this last year, especially more than I've ever done, is I've been present in the moment, whatever it is. And so that's been very, very enlightening for me.
yeah,
Uh, and again, still growing in it.
yeah. Be where your feet are at.
Exactly.
Because when you have a high, when you're an overachiever
Yeah.
and a high achiever, you're always looking for the next thing.
Right. Right.
And I think that when you can slow down and say, I need to be here right now and
Yep.
give all that I have right now, because tomorrow's not promised.
Right.
So if I think to myself, like, I got to be ready for tomorrow.
Right.
Okay. Tomorrow's coming. Don't worry about that. Whether it
Exactly.
is or it isn't, it's coming. Something's coming. So
Exactly.
take care of right now. Right. And,
Exactly.
and on that note, Coach, I refer back to 2020, right? Because it was such
Yep.
a hard year from so many aspects and perspectives. But I think about mental health, right, and
Yep.
coaches. And so how important is mental health, emotional health, and even physical health for coaches in your perspective?
Yeah, and I think that's where that balance comes in. I've worked with a lot of coaches, and I know a lot of coaches that have put the game so far ahead of everything else in life that they do become physically and emotionally sick,
Yeah,
health issues. And it's just, at the end of the day, if that pressure, that type of stress, whether it's internal, external, whatever it is, it's not good for you. It's not good for anybody. And then it usually shows up in the players' play, because the way you're coaching them is going to be different, the way you're approaching them and everybody else. And at the end of the day, we coach a game.
Yeah.
And like it really is. And it sounds harsh at times to kind of say something that's simple. Now but it's a game. And yeah, wins and losses are important, but at the end of the day, it's a game, and a lot of the stuff you can't control. What do you do through that game is obviously helping others. You're bringing notoriety to your schools and putting a platform, and doing those type of things. You're building leaders and stuff. And I think when you focus on that, you're going to be a lot stronger mentally, emotionally, physically. But again, I think that's why you have to find other outlets. That's why you have to have a balance. You have to be in the moment and realize, like, look, it was told to me this years back. It was actually Coach Rudder, and he asked me, "Do you remember our score against Hope International in year 2?" And I'm like, "No." He said, "Exactly. So it doesn't really matter. Like, you grew from." He said, "You remember the lessons from those games. You remember how the players felt, how you felt, how you were able to grow after that. But you don't remember those specifics. So at the end of the day, it's not worth stressing all that over. Like, there is a good amount of stress to have that's productive, but you can't let it go overboard, and you got to keep your mental sharp, your emotional sharp, because when those two things fail, physically you're going to fail as well, because stress is holistic."
Yeah, though, I like how you put it, productive stress, because I tell people all the time, like, I've had stress throughout my career as an administrator, and then I've had stress in a basketball game. The two are different.
Exactly.
I prefer the basketball game stress, because that
No
means
doubt.
I can do something immediately about it,
Exactly.
or have a hand in it. But productive stress, that needs to be on a T-shirt somewhere.
Yeah.
It has to be studied. I think
Right.
that's
Right.
another part too. Now,
Yep.
Coach, I want to ask you, how important is your support system? Because we all need a good one.
Uh,
And
it's yeah. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, I could not do what I do without my support system. Um, because at the end of the day, when you need some people, when all things seem like they're going wrong,
yeah,
to be able to lift you up, remind you who you are, remind you why you're doing this, remind you that you're more than whatever just happened. So it's a huge part. I think everyone needs somebody, for sure.
yeah,
We were all meant. None of us were meant to do things alone in life, and uh, so it's very, very important for me. And luckily for me, I have a very, very supportive system in place.
that's fantastic. Yeah, I think too, as coaches, we need to look to be a support system for each other, even on the bench, even in the meeting rooms,
Sure.
and the by and by when we're just chilling, eating lunch with each other.
Yeah,
I think so many times we're our own entities,
for
and
sure.
we don't want to open up and be
Yep.
vulnerable from certain perspectives. But
Yeah.
I think
And I think it's
vulnerability.
important to have different type of support system. Like, my
Yeah,
wife is going to be different than I'll be able to go to her about different things, and I can go to my best friend BJ Porter, who's the head coach at Azusa Pacific. Like, I can go to him about different things that I'm stressing over that he's going to understand more, versus other people who know other parts of my life. I'm going
yeah,
to be able to go to them who are going to understand more. So I think that's all very important, and I think it's important that you have some diversity within that support system,
yeah.
so you have perspective as well.
Fantastic, Coach. You really laid it out really good right there. Some diversity and perspective, yeah, and thought too. Like, a lot of people need to hear. Sometimes we're too close to the situation,
Right,
right?
right,
And it's like, hey, man, look at this perspective. Check it out. What do you think?
right.
And it'll cause what? Growth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's the theme
Uh,
for today, growth.
and
And
again, at the end of the day, can you ask better questions? Like, I think that's what your support system is allowing you to do, is ask better questions to yourself, get a different perspective, see other experiences that can help your perspective and your experience to handle what you're going through.
Yeah, great stuff, man. Really good. And now we've talked about kind of the ideas of like growth, helping others, serving others, watching other people get better as you work with them. But I want to ask you directly, Coach, what is your why? Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, again, I think it all goes back to that servanthood theme. And for me, is I want to help others become their best selves.
Mhm.
And whether that's a large part in helping them do that or just a small part, like I really enjoy seeing others succeed, seeing them exceed their own expectations and helping them with their perspective and their tools to
Yeah,
grow and do that. So for me, at the end of the day, that's my why for every single thing that I do. Obviously, my family is my why as well, and helping them to creating a great life for them. But at the end of the day, those are the two things that keep me motivated with everything I do. And it just happens to be through a sport that I love in the
yeah,
game of basketball. And at the end of the day, I do it through this sport because that's how it was done for me. And I think basketball taught me way more than any classroom setting that I could be in. It taught me, gave me the tools to navigate all the ups and downs and to become the person I am today.
yeah. Heck, just how to work with people, right? How
Yeah,
to get along in life with people who aren't you. Uh,
exactly.
little things like that, right?
Right, right.
And so my last question is always about legacy, Coach, and
Yep,
it's about the game more than
right.
it is about the big picture when I ask about this. But I'm coming off of 3 funerals I had to go to
Oh,
this
wow.
weekend last week, and
Yeah,
all close people. It's not like
yeah,
these people I didn't know.
right,
And as I
right.
heard people eulogize them, and I did myself, um, I really thought more about this question because I'm like,
Yeah,
man, like you talked about being present.
yep,
It's like, man, what am I doing every day with my players that is going to leave the impression, right? Maya Angelou said, right? They'll forget what you did, they'll forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. So, Coach, I
yeah.
want to ask you, what would you want to be said about you when the day that you're done with this game?
Yeah. I go back to something that I heard someone say about my dad about 10 years ago. And they said that your father is the one person. He said, most people come in and you ask them for something or ask them for help. They ask, what do you need? They ask you, we ask your father for help. He says, yes. No matter what it is, before he knows what it is. And I want to be known as a person who was always there for his guys. Whatever they needed, however they needed me, I was there, and I was the guy that was always going to show up and give my best to help them do whatever it is they need to do or want to do. Um, at the end of the day, that's who I want to be, and I think if they're saying that about me, then I've lived the life I was supposed to live. So that's for me what it is.
Coach, I appreciate you so much, man. I really do.
No,
I
I
knew it was going
appreciate
to be
it.
great. I knew it was going to be what it was. And here again, man, thank you for taking the time and making the time to be with us.
No, I appreciate you, Mike, and everything you do. And obviously, I watch a ton of the podcasts you do, and I appreciate the platform you provide. And again, it helps me grow just listening to other people's stories, why they do what they do, how they come about it, and gives me some more perspective that I'm able to share with those close to me as well. So, really appreciate you for all the work that you do.
I appreciate it, Brandon, so much.